So about a day or two ago, there was a rumor surfacing that the Los Angeles Clippers were contemplating trading Blake Griffin to the Denver Nuggets of all teams. And I question the validity of this, but at the same time, me being me, let's discuss this. Why would the Clippers do this? Well, the Clippers are in a weird situation at the moment where their big three of Blake Griffin and DeAndre Jordan with his defense and his rebounding and his offensive game that is definitely not as effective as Blake's, but he's still decent finishing around the rim, and having Chris Paul, who is still one of the best point guards and probably a top 20 player in the league. But outside of those three, the only real positive on their team, in my opinion, is J.J. Redick because of his shooting. I mean, you look at someone like a Paul Pierce, his scoring is just not what it used to be. He's not as quick. He's not able to get around defenders as easily. His shooting is decreased. And as far as defensively, I mean, look at this here. He can't keep up with Harrison Barnes when he's running down the wing. And then we look at other names like Austin Rivers. He's never really been a real plus. And Lance Stevenson is great every 3 weeks, but a lot of the time his shots look like this. And yeah, Jamal Crawford has a flair for the dramatic at times, but if we're looking for consistency and efficiency out of him, you might want to keep looking. And I think it's inevitable that the Clippers are probably a second round exit, and they probably will be for some time. So perhaps they as an organization would say, maybe we want to shake this up and see if something else could just work. And the proposed move, I guess, would be something like Danilo Gallinari, who would increase their shooting at the wing position, especially small forward, tenfold. Kenneth Faried, who at his core is an athlete and a rebounder, as well as Will Barton, who, like Gallinari, doesn't have one distinct way to be a scorer, but he's efficient, whether it be driving inside, shooting from outside, the type of scorer the Clippers could really use. Now, the Nuggets do this, of course, because Blake Griffin is one of the best players in the league, and if this did happen, the Clippers, from an athleticism standpoint, Faried's almost on par with Griffin. He's not as talented, but he is a good athlete. Gallinari would be perhaps the first real consistent shooter they've had at the small forward position in a while. And Will Barton, just another scorer, someone who can take some ball handling pressure off of Chris Paul. And with Gallinari potentially at the power forward spot as well, this could open up the Clippers' offense and give them more of a spread type of feel. And because of Will Barton, there's a chance that if Lance Stevenson's having a bad game, you can just throw him on the bench. And on the other side of things, if this happened and Blake Griffin was actually a member of the Denver Nuggets, it'd be pretty damn drastic to say the least. I mean, of course, he would carry over all of his natural ability to Denver, but if we can remember, the Nuggets have a young point guard by the name of Emmanuel Mudiay, who seems like he's got all the potential in the world to be something perhaps special. And the duo of those two could be amazing, because Mudiay, his ability to lead the fast break with Griffin's athleticism, that could be something. And also, because of Chris Paul not being there, Griffin would have the ball in his hand more. And if we remember, he's actually one of the best passers in the league regardless of his position. And also, his offense, I would think, would have more freedom as well, because with no DeAndre there, the paint would just be completely open for Blake Griffin to just do as much as he wants to do down there and work on the opposing big man without his big man getting in his way. But of course, with Denver, with guys like Mudiay and Gary Harris, it would take a minute because they all have to grow themselves to really surround Griffin. But still, the potential of a Mudiay-Blake Griffin fast break. Now, do I think this should actually happen? No. I don't see why the Clippers would do this, because you know how much scoring they would lose in their front court? Kenneth Faried's not going to be able to post up, and DeAndre Jordan, I mean, he's been wanting to get the ball more in the post, and he might get the opportunity by default. I don't know if he's that type of a player. Plus, let's be honest, Danilo Gallinari is not really killing anybody when it comes to his defense. And I really don't think the Clippers would have too much of an improvement with this trade. They'd be a different team. DeAndre Jordan would get more room to operate, but I still don't think this would make them any better than any of the top teams in the Western Conference. So, Doc, the GM, you're going to have to do a better job to make a more well-rounded roster, and I recommend you don't give up Blake, DeAndre, or CP3 in the process to do it. Apologies to the Denver Nuggets, because a Blake Griffin, Emmanuel Mudiay thing could be awesome, but